I'm giving you an example now of how I shade underneath these drawings of mine. You see, I've just done a single line around most of these, like this one. You see, they're all like that. This one has had its shading around. You see how dark it is, but I don't go all the way around. I go as though the light is coming from the top here, and it's shining underneath here, right? So that's all you will get. You won't get it from there normally, but you might get it from this side. So I give it a little touch here, and down here again because of the shadow here. So I give it a little bit more there. So underneath all these little ones here, I will give that a little shadow under there, you see. Same as under here. And it brings it to life. It gets a little bit more modelling, you see. All this here is a single line around, and it has the shading within there, but it has nothing underneath, like a dark shadow, as though it was formed by either wood or stone. You will get this sculptural effect, and that's what I've started to do again now. Of course, these things are a little bit time consuming to this, but it makes a lot of difference. And especially if you're an engraver, you see, if you do these, what I call monolines, it might be the incorrect terminology, but this is what I will call them. And you re-enter the cut. And the majority of the engraving I have seen in the past, and some others, I wouldn't say it gets monotonous, but if you haven't got a dark background, it doesn't give a interesting effect. So this is what I'm doing now. See, I'm underneath here. As I mentioned, I'm not going all the way around because it'll make it just, it wouldn't create the shadow. It would just make a dark line all the way around, as though you got your graver and dug it a bit deeper and gone all the way around. This is where you need the graver or the pen to go under here. It's like if you see the Chinese calligraphy with a brush, or even the great calligraphers we have now and in the past with their implements, which are superb pens. And that's the thing I would love to get, something. People say a bad workman always blames his tools. Well, maybe he does, but if you haven't got the correct tool in the first place, I don't think you will get the results needed. So, because these pens have got just a stub on the end and the ink comes out of it, you have to employ a different effect than you do with a nib that spreads and a brush that spreads as you do the downward stroke, and that's what gives you the script, the copper plate script. And of course you would do the same with all the English or the Gothic script. Using the pen, you twist it to get the thin lines, and you downward or upward pressure with the thicker side. To those that haven't seen it and don't understand, I hope I can give you a little insight into what these other people do. And you see, it comes to life a bit, but as I say, I keep on having to try to find the areas where the light will be, here, under here. I've mentioned before, some of the papers we have are good for lots of things, but there are occasions when you want to do a little bit of detail in here. Of course, these papers are not handmade exactly, but they do have a grain in them, and there are little lumps and bumps that impede the downward of the motion you want. You don't fight it exactly, is the word for it, but you know you have to concentrate a little bit more. You don't want a ragged edge. You want to get the movement that's there to create an interesting and a beautiful stroke. So you have to use your tools in a different way. Your pen's in a different way. You think slightly different. As you say, if you're doing a carving, you've got gouges that scoop out here. Then you've got the flat chisels, the sharp edges. The chaps that do the plasterwork, the stucco, I call it, and plasterwork with all the beautiful scrolls, they have a variety of tools and knives that cut away the plaster to form all these shapes that you need. One tool doesn't do all the jobs you want. You can do it because you want to save your time and effort. So you develop your different tools. And this is... So on the markets now, you will see, because it's becoming more popular, and because we're on this computers or tablets or various things, we're becoming conscious of what's around now, and people will be developing different things for sale that will help. And I hope it does create more of an art now for people. I keep on reading that the younger generation now, there's 500,000 on these pills that now for, mental health things. Why? I don't think we had that problem. In the past, of course, we had stories of artists that starved in the garret, went crazy like La Boheme. I think. But it's a self-satisfactory thing. It's a mental thing. It's giving yourself your ability to put your mark there. And of course, there are a lot of people coming out that can help. In the past, you had to read books, or you had to try to research, and then lots of the tradespeople or the craftspeople kept their secrets because it was their livelihood, and they didn't want competition. If somebody took away your livelihood, you starved. So this is what we're doing, and today I don't think we have that problem. Yes, we do it. Some people, of course, I don't have to do it so much now because I've retired, and you can earn a living by teaching. But as I keep on trying to explain. You can see how it's gradually developing. And I ramble on, as I mentioned before. I like doing it. I'm doing it in daylight now. The evenings are getting longer, and it's not a dull day. We just had hail and rain for a bit. We've had some sunshine. And this is what we're doing here. We're trying to create an atmosphere of light and shade, as though you're in... it's like being in the woods, really. You see shadows on the side of trees, and it gives you that three-dimensional look about things. If we didn't have light or shade, everything would be so bland. It's like a dull day, and it doesn't lift the spirits so much, when everything is overcast. When you've got little shadows and things, everything brightens up. If you want to make a light picture and a bright day, you must have shadows. And on a sunny day, most of the things, the shadows are very dark. So that's what a lot of artists will play on. You will get the silhouettes of people. So you don't need to put all the detail in. You just put the mark and you know exactly what the artist is trying to say. And see, I have to rub a little bit more to get this impression of the shadow, because I'm keeping a number 2 pen here. If you make them too heavy, you get a too heavier one, of course you can mar the outline. And see, this is where we're going. So I hope I've given you a little bit of an insight into what I do. And I want to encourage most of us, even the retired. I keep on saying about the younger people, because we're all ages and we all want to start from different ways and we've all got interests. And so, even if you do it as a hobby, it's a fun thing. My wife Sheila, she's got a colouring book, and they've developed now. I see people sit on their trains coming home from work and got nothing to do, so they buy a colouring book with all the patterns in it or whatever, and you colour them in. And it's according to what colour background you put in and what colours you put in. It is different from your friends that may be having the same one sitting alongside you. So that's it. It's keeping your mentally alert to certain things. Okay, I'll leave it for now and I'll say goodbye.